What is going on, guys? Today I am back with another discussion video, once again with Gannon. Gannon, say hello to the boys.
Hello, I'm Gannon. I'm here for the discussion video.
Okay, there he is. That is Gannon. And, yep, we're doing the same thing we did last week. Last week's topic was kind of controversial.
It was scuffed.
It was shit. I don't particularly find anything that I really say controversial, but that's apparently what I'm known for, so I guess we're going to be doing that again. The title probably already gives you an indication of what we're doing and probably triggered you to an extent, so before that, I would like to make a disclaimer. We are going to be shitting on Law quite a bit in this video, but would like to mention that as an actual character, I don't really have too much of a problem with Law. I think he's pretty interesting. In fact, actually, my phone case, the back of it is his Jolly Roger and some cool panels that he's in. It like says Trafalgar D, Water Law at the bottom, so it's pretty cool. I like Law. He's not my favorite, but I think he's a pretty good character overall. He's got some interesting problems that have come up recently, but it's possible that they're actually going to turn into good things, so I'm kind of just giving Oda the benefit of the doubt until then. But my main issue has everything to do with the outlandishness that has to do with his power scaling. So that's really what I'm going to be going in on here. I'm not exactly sure what Gannon's going to be focusing on. I guess he can tell you right now what that's going to be.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a little bit of an opening statement. Yeah, our last discussion video was scuffed. Good thing I came up with the idea for this one, and it's going to be amazing. But, never mind that. Today we're going to be going in on Law. Now, Fronky, he said he doesn't really mind Law that much, and he would like to criticize his abilities. I am Law's biggest criticizer. I am a Law hater to the biggest degree, and that is because this man is a walking enigma. You look in the panels, and there is no real reason for any of this guy's like motivations. Like, his motivations aren't clearly described, they aren't explained, and he never even really... His biggest motivation was to defeat Doflamingo in the name of Corazon. And he's just like, he fails at that so brilliantly. Okay, I mean, I guess we could start there. Because, I mean, Law for the first half of the series, post-time skip, or pre-time skip, obviously everybody loves him. He's a very cool character, a cool design, and his representation on Sabaody Archipelago is almost conflictive with his current character.
It's insane, yeah.
I'll evidence key one. When Luffy does a whole bunch of dumb, reckless shit on Sabaody Archipelago, Law sits in his chair laid back like a dog, and he's impressed. He almost likes it. It's probably the main reason why he chooses to instinctively have allegiance with Luffy, to do this, what is it called?
Pirate Alliance.
Alliance, yeah, the Pirate Alliance. That's, like, his main motivation, to, like, get together with Luffy, and then now all he does is just bitch about how they do stupid shit all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, in Sabaody, he does say, he does drop the D will blow up a storm again, or the D will definitely blow up a storm again. So it's possible that that's simply all he was referencing, especially because that came from Corazon originally. But yeah, I mean that is a fair point.
He does reference the Will of D. I didn't remember him referencing it during Sabaody. He probably did, and it is also just half the reason why he's doing the Pirate Alliance with Luffy is because he is a D. It's mentioned when he drops him off back at Amazon Lily. He references it when Rayleigh shows up. So he's really into the Will of D. He really trusts that they're going to bring a storm again. Trafalgar Law, very cool on his introduction. But then you get to the post-time skip Law, and everything just goes into shambles, as one would say. And it's just really atrocious what they do to this man.
That was a pun, right? Like, that was intentional?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, just making sure.
Okay? So, we get to post-time skip Law. No longer the cool, laid-back Law we saw at Sabaody, the one who, aside from the Will of D, he just kind of showed up to Marineford on a whim and saved Luffy, a guy who he really doesn't even know that well, which was very awesome and cool of him. He captured Luffy's hat from Buggy, put Luffy down to the depths of his submarine ship, and nursed him back to health. Law, another thing I would like to say here, and I'll let you speak. Law is a doctor, but he in no way follows the Hippocratic Oath whatsoever. And the Hippocratic Oath is that a doctor shall do no harm. I'm going to reference this later, because this is actually like a big deal. Law does not practice the Hippocratic Oath whatsoever, but he would like to think that he does. Anyways, your turn. Why don't you go ahead and start us off with your first Law criticism?
Well, I mean, I do have actually some criticisms of his character, not just all about his power levels. So I did like what you were saying about how he kind of just okay, so his entire motivation, as far as we've seen, and you could argue it's not, but like, okay, let's just start from the beginning. So we get to Law, he seems pretty cool, whatever, and then we get to Punk Hazard and we start finding out some stuff about him, and it's like, yeah, okay, he wants to take down one of the 4 Yonkos, and it's Kaido specifically. And then he says, all right, so here's the fucking plan. You know, he's got some shit going on with Dofi. One of the reasons that Kaido's such a superpower is because of Dofi. And they're going to take him down so that will cause a problem with Kaido. That will weaken him. And then they'll have a better chance of taking him on head on. And cool. Awesome. Sounds good. And then they get to Dressrosa and stuff. And we start getting a few glimpses of maybe there's some bullshit going on. Maybe there's some just actual history between Dofi and Law might not so much being completely tactical, and most importantly, Sanji calls him out on this. He's like, are you sure that this is all about taking down Kaido? Like, there isn't something going on between you and Dofi? And he doesn't respond, but he's like, ugh, ugh. And so it's like, okay, yeah. And then that kind of becomes like what's going on in Dressrosa. We find out that it's all about getting revenge for Law. His entire ambition really is to get revenge for Corazon. And okay, but 2 problems with that. So 1, like you said, he does a spectacularly awful job of getting that revenge. I mean, he accomplishes almost nothing.
Let me interject real quick, and I'll let you.
Go ahead.
I'll let you continue speaking. But it was like Law's plan switches up. I went and I reread.
Yes.
Law's plan switches up when he gets to Dressrosa. At first, his easy freelo goal is to just destroy the Smile Factory, get the fuck out, and let Kaido come and deal with Doflamingo. Which I don't know how he thought that was going to work. Doflamingo will literally chase you to the end of the earth on his strings to come and slaughter you. They get there, they realize there's a lot more shit going on. You know, it's actually their responsibility to defeat Doflamingo then and there. So him and Luffy go to fight Doflamingo at the top of Doflamingo's palace or whatever it is. And another thing, Law would really like to think that he's not committing revenge towards Doflamingo, that he's fighting for Corazon himself. I think he says this, actually, in the panels. So, while Law doesn't think he's, acting out of revenge, he 100% is. He is.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's like, in Dressrosa, we find out that's the entirety of his character.
Oh, yeah,
and then he has a miserable time trying to accomplish that. I mean, I don't know why this is the case, but he is completely outmatched by Dofi in ways that we rarely see in the series that isn't supposed to be comedic in the first place. And besides the fact that he does a horrible job of getting his goal accomplished, we also have the fact that, I guess, yeah, I mean, his fucking power scaling is off the same thing. His power scaling is a complete fucking joke. Like, we have him, when we first see him in Sabaody, we have this thing where Luffy, Law, and Kid all come out of the, wherever the fuck they were at, the auction house, and it's like the 3 of them. It's like, oh, this is the big 3 of the worst generation. Okay, these guys are going to be rivals. And he kind of, it seems like that is a possibility, because he's pretty fucking overpowered. He has one of the strongest devil fruits in the entire series. And then even on Punk Hazard, he does things that are so
Punk Hazard,
overpowered.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
It's crazy what he does on Punk Hazard. It literally makes him seem like a meta-human.
No, like,
but then when he
how
gets
can
in
you
front
beat
of
him?
Doflamingo, he is completely outclassed.
It's, I mean, shit. Like, in Punk Hazard, he with no effort whatsoever. He just puts his room around everyone and then switches their bodies. As far as we've seen, there is no condition for this to be a possibility. So it's like, okay, why is it in the many, many, many times that both Treble and Dofi, or anyone for that matter, were in Dofi's or in Law's room, why would he not switch Dofi with somebody else? So now somebody else has to deal with the string fruit. No one has any idea how to use it. Dofi's even the one that goes out of his way to mention that you have to be skilled with using your fruit. It's all about the way that you use it. Like, the whole series is about that. That's why Luffy's really powerful. You have to be good at using your fruit. So the string fruit is worthless. Dofi no longer has a devil fruit and is probably in some stupid ass body. I mean, look at him. He's jacked out of his fucking mind. Now, if he's in Treble's body, like, what's he gonna do with that? It's a joke. It's ridiculous.
Another thing, like, if you actually go back to the fight he had with G8 and Smoker, it really shows you what he should be able to accomplish. Mm-hmm. He gets in that fight. The first thing he does is he chops their entire giant Navy ship in half. He sends one half of it floating up in the air, and then he has another half, like, fucking phased into the mountain or something. So he has the energy to do that, but not only that. He fights Smoker, and I'm pretty sure, I don't remember the exact time placement, but, like, while he's doing all this shit, a little bit before, a little bit after, he switches the Straw Hats' identities.
Yes.
He does all this shit at once, and he fights and defeats Smoker.
It's insane.
Then, like, after he does all this, and after it's revealed, he's like a Dr. Hogback, like, squared. This dude could make fucking freaks of human nature naturally. He can cut off people's limbs and replace them with animal limbs.
Yeah.
Like, you find out all this shit about his fruit, and then the moment you find out that Law gets a little bit tired after using his fruit for a while, that somehow means that he also forgets how to fucking use it. Like, the most OP ability he has is Shambles. He could literally replace any object with another object super easily. So, like, in his small scuffle with Hawkins, he'll throw out a stone right next to Hawkins, Shambles, switch himself with the stone, and chop Hawkins. But then there's also been times where I've literally seen him just teleport people without even having to replace it with an object. It seems like he could just teleport people when he wants.
I mean, yeah, it could be like air or something.
Even if he did have to replace it with an object, he could just literally replace anything with a small speck of dust.
That's what I'm saying.
And then the biggest offense to this, obviously this is a plot tool, but I don't know. Like, similar to Big Mom, I feel like Big Mom's a character who has been BM'd by Oda a lot. Just kind of disrespected, because she's supposed to be one of the most powerful pirates of them all, but she lets the Straw Hats kind of go to her island, do whatever the fuck they please with no repercussions. I feel the same way with Law. Like, every time I see this dude on panel, it's almost an insult to his devil fruit and what his character should be capable of.
I mean, it's like, how the fuck did his arm get chopped off? Like, Dofi just holds him in the air, gives him this speech, basically just BMing him the entire time, and then he just does this little move where he chops his fucking arm off. How in God's name could he not use his most, like, primary ability, Shambles, to just get the fuck away from Dofi? I mean,
and not only that, right? Like, he can manipulate the arm once it's off, as seen with his little exchange with Treble. He uses the arm and he levitates it to fuck Treble up. Like, Law's got a lot of tricks up his sleeves. He's got a lot of different cards that he could pull out. So actually in that fight, it was a literal true 1v1 between Doflamingo and Law. Law had Giola as a hostage, but shambled her, like, to Doflamingo at the start because he didn't want to do any shady shit. And the only thing that Law was able to get on Doflamingo in that fight was a nick on the cheek, and then he got an injection shot towards his torso area, which, as we know, is a useless attack.
Yeah.
It's a useless attack. Like, people would like to think that Law somehow kind of made Doflamingo a little bit fatigued or tired from that attack. It did nothing. It did nothing because he uses his most ultimate lethal attack on Doflamingo's torso as well, and Doflamingo's just able to counter it with his strings.
I mean,
Okay,
he was down for like 30 seconds, and then he was just fucking chilling like nothing happened.
Yeah, and I'm sure that did fatigue Doflamingo a little bit, but nothing happened in his fight on the bridge. It was just total embarrassment. It was definitely a literary device used to show the power discrepancy between these two characters. Doflamingo's a monster.
Oh, yeah.
And Law is this naive supernova coming thinking that he can actually contest him on this bridge. And, like, Doflamingo's fruit is really strong, and he is superhuman and metahuman, but I feel like Law should have been able to compete a little bit more with the Ope Ope no Mi in that particular instance.
Come on. It's arguably the strongest fruit in the series. Like,
it's top. It's like people consistently put it in the top 5 in the list. Like,
it has to be top 5. I mean,
dude, it's
oh my
fucking
god,
insane. Like, you're literally in a room that you can grow and shrink based off your own will, and then you can do whatever you want in that room. You're basically a god.
You're in god mode
as much as you want
inside of that room.
So the moment we find out Law gets a little bit tired after using this fruit, the fucker just, like, forgets how to use it. Like, he hasn't done shit since Dressrosa.
He hasn't done anything.
He hasn't done anything. Like, has Oda forgotten about this dude? He's supposed to be that cool, like, assistance character to Luffy, and he's just not even filling that role very well.
He's done nothing. I mean,
he's done nothing. He did nothing in Zou. There was nothing to do. They just kind of showed up there. And now they had the whole cake arc, so Law's out of that. But now they show up in Wano, and why don't we just discuss real quick what this fucker's done in Wano? Because really what he's done in Wano is just embarrass himself.
I mean, 100%.
Okay, so first thing we see this guy do, Fronky, what's the first altercation he gets in? Do you remember?
Yeah, I believe it's with Hawkins.
With Hawkins, with the basket on his head, right?
He just gets fucking annihilated.
I
mean, not exactly.
He doesn't get annihilated at all. But here's why this is embarrassing.
But he didn't accomplish anything.
He didn't accomplish anything. But he shows up to that fight, and he says under the mask, he says to himself, this is internal dialogue. He says, I gotta take anybody who has knowledge out on us right now. I gotta kill him right now. Come next chapter, Law does one successful attack on Hawkins. Obviously that won't work because Hawkins has like 8 to 9 lives like a fucking cat. And then right after that, Law gives up. And he's like, oh, I'm a doctor. I don't kill people.
Yeah.
What the fuck? What do you mean? You slashed up Vergo and literally left his like body's parts and ligaments to just die in an explosion on Punk Hazard, and you say you don't kill people?
I mean, the guy became a warlord by taking, I believe it was 500 hearts from
I think it was 100 hearts.
Is it 100? I was thinking 100 maybe, but regardless.
It's either 100 or 500.
Yeah, like, he just brings them over to Marineford and is like, check this out, bitch. Like, what?
But the thing is that, like, he could have their hearts, but they might
they might not be dead, but I mean, well, that's like, it's a threat.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, these guys are all dead.
Like, basically, it's giving somebody's soul to the fuzz, right? It's like, okay, let me just give your, like, soul to law enforcement real quick. Yeah, that was pretty hard.
Law enforcement.
Yeah. Okay, shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
no, but like,
that's exactly what happens. It's total bullshit. Yeah, I didn't even remember, honestly, him ever mentioning that he has, like, a problem with killing people. That just seems like total... I mean, he's called the Surgeon of fucking Death.
He's called the Surgeon of Death. He's got death tattooed on his
right.
knuckles.
Like, what are you talking about?
This dude, like, he talks about eradicating people on the daily. He was like, if the Straw Hats give me any trouble, I'll just eradicate them.
Yeah.
Like, this dude, it's definitely implied that this dude has taken life before, and that his conjecture to Basil Hawkins saying, like, oh, I'm a doctor, I don't take people's life. Like, no, you do not follow the Hippocratic Oath at all. You are a pirate. It's heavily implied that you've taken life. We've seen you take life on panel, so this is merely just you using an excuse to do the dash. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened.
And then right after that, his crewmates get captured by Hawkins, and once he sees that Hawkins has his crewmates' souls engraved in his ability, and that in order to defeat Hawkins, he has to kill his crewmates, Law does kind of a smart thing, and he's like, okay, let's do a trade. Take me in exchange for my crewmates. So Law gets captured by Basil Hawkins. He allows himself to be captured. which could very much destroy and violate their whole entire plan because of his 3 useless crewmates, who one of them might have even been a traitor at this point, for all we know.
Well,
and
yeah,
then,
at that point, yeah.
And then they try to redeem Law's character in some way by having him standing over a bloodied Hawkins escaped. But the thing is that Law does not do this on his own at all. A fucking shadowy figure who we don't know the identification of, possibly X-Drake.
No, it's Drake.
Do we learn it was Drake?
I believe it was confirmed the next chapter.
Okay, well, I don't remember that. Anyways.
I mean, it's obviously Drake regardless. Like,
Okay.
It's definitely Drake.
I think it's Drake. I don't remember if it was confirmed.
I'm pretty sure.
This happened like 30 or 40 chapters
Yeah, this was
ago.
a while ago, yeah. I think it was over a year ago, honestly.
But the thing is that Law didn't do anything for himself. He was literally let out by some shadowy figure, then he probably got the drop on Hawkins when he wasn't looking.
I mean, if you ask me, I think that Drake is an absolute fucking powerhouse. So, for all we know, it could have been all Drake. Like,
Drake's definitely like top 4 supernovas.
Yeah, he's an animal, literally.
I really like him.
Me too.
So yeah, no. So like, that's what Law has done since he's shown up to to Wano, and then not only this, the biggest plot device, obviously, is just when he lets Momonosuke away. Why anybody lets Momonosuke get captured? Perhaps we might learn later it's intentional, because there was at least 10 people on those docks who could have speed blitzed Kanjuro and just absolutely murdered him. Luffy, Law, Zoro, Jinbei showed up. Jinbei was there. Sanji can fucking fly. He can literally
Sanji's the
hop in the
fastest
air.
of the Straw Hats. I mean, shit.
But I mean, Law could have just produced a room and looked at a piece of dust on the dock and was like, ooh, shambles.
I mean, fuck that. Make it real easy. Replace Momo with Luffy. Game over.
Dude, oh my god. And then they fucking destroy Kanjuro, and then their spy. It's just like they have no chance of relaying any information to Kaido and the rest of the gang. But they just let him go on this fucking bird. That was crazy.
I would really enjoy a fucking panel of Zoro just, like, looking at Law and being like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, what? Do you know what is going on? Aren't you, like, supposed to be a supernova? What's happening?
By the way, I'm going to do a Law versus Zoro. Have you done a Law versus Zoro versus battle?
Yep.
I'm going to do it, and listen.
What's even the point?
Dude, well, I know, but I just need to flex on people because, like, I'm a Law criticizer, and I'm only a Law criticizer because I want Law to be great. I want.
I know. That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of characters that are just fucked, but they've always been fucked, and they have nothing going for them, so I don't give a shit. Mm-hmm. But like, dude, Law, like, at one point was my favorite character.
Dude, he was sick.
Right, like, he was so good, and now Oda just fucking destroys him every chance he gets. I don't understand it. It's so sad. His entire, like, big arc is Dressrosa, where he gets to defeat Dofi and shit, and he gets shit on. He's embarrassed. I mean, he's incapacitated for the majority of the actual fight. Luffy does everything and doesn't even do it all. I mean, it's just total bullshit.
He literally becomes like a fucking, just a pile of flesh. He's beaten up to a fucking pulp at one point in the battle. Luffy has to throw him off the palace. He has to teleport himself away. And then from then on out, the only thing Law can do, by the way, he's already used a lot of abilities today. He's expanded his room, I'm pretty sure, to a dangerous degree. He's still able to use Shambles to teleport Violet, Viola, and... Wait, it's Violet and Viola, right? What's the pink
Same name.
Yeah. So, Violet and Viola and Luffy, he just teleports them around like it's easy for him. Like, across this large city. Not to mention, so, like, the limits of his fruit aren't clearly defined at all. It's just like the moment they said, oh, this dude gets a little bit tired after a while. It's an endurance-based fruit. Well, okay, that doesn't mean this motherfucker needs to forget about, like, everything he does with his fruit. And not only that, he just becomes a background character almost.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I mean, if it takes a certain amount of energy to use different abilities, I'm imagining that different abilities take more or less energy. So how in the fuck is it possible that at the beginning of the fight where he's relatively at full energy, he can't use any of his sick tricks that we've seen before, yet after probably like a half hour of fighting when he might reasonably be exhausted, he pulls out his ultimate ability.
Yeah.
Like, and then he gets a little tired.
Yeah, ultimate lethal damaging ability, and then even after doing that, he just is thrown off the palace, and he just has to sit up on a roof somewhere and TP people around like a little bitch.
It's so bad.
Do you know what I mean? At that point, he literally becomes, like, everybody calls him a glass cannon support character. Dude, he was a piece of fucking shattered glass, TPing people around the PvP zone, bro.
Yeah, it was bad. You know, I found it insulting to my intelligence when Luffy was on the run, and then Law gets a hold of him, is like, don't worry, I'm a doctor. Like, don't fucking... he didn't do anything. Like, what did he do? Luffy, it doesn't even have really any, like, external injuries. I mean, what can he do? He didn't do shit. He can't even move.
Yourself, bro.
Right, like, how the fuck are you gonna help Luffy? Don't act like you helped Luffy in any way. You just took him to safety for, like, 30 seconds. Shut the fuck up.
And then another thing I would really like to say... on the wiki, it says Law, like many other pirates, dreams of finding the One Piece, and it's you know, it's like bookmarked here. It says chapter 595, episode 513. I'm pretty sure that is implying there was one point like between post and pre time skip where Law was talking to his crewmates, and the only thing he's ever said about the One Piece, ever, to my knowledge, he still is like. Because his crew were eager to go to the New World, and he was like, we're not going to the New World yet. He's like, pirates, he's like, the One Piece will still be there, and pirates will still be fighting amongst themselves. Let's let them do that. That's the only thing he said. But other than that, we really don't know this guy's motivations whatsoever. Like, why do you want to find the One Piece? Why? Yeah. Like, it seems like since childhood, by the way, I made a comment about how I didn't like Law's backstory in our last discussion. I've reviewed it. Like a lot of things prior to this discussion, I enjoy his backstory a lot. It's very
I like it. I like it.
It's very dark and gruesome. It makes him kind of a hateful young character, and it's very it affects him in what he becomes later as an adult. So I actually like it quite a lot. But it's never touched upon why. So you want to defeat Doflamingo in the name of Corazon. You don't do that at all. You land a couple scratches on him. You help Luffy. You basically have to help Luffy carry you the entire day. And then you don't even kill Doflamingo. You just, like, subdue him and he goes to jail. Wow, great job, Law. I'm sure
you know he's coming out.
Yeah, dude, you feel very... I can't imagine he feels very fulfilled from that victory. Like, they just barely subdue him by the skin of their teeth. And then Law's just like, okay, now time to go to Kaido. Why?
Right. Like,
what motivation do you have to do this?
There was this whole thing where, like, everyone realizes that Law actually has different motivations than he led on to, and it's all about Dofi. And then as soon as Dofi's taken care of, he's like, all right, on to step 2 of the fucking plan.
Yeah, what? Dude, you were a kid. You were a kid of doctors bullshit. And your sister, and they were all fucking just slaughtered on this island, and you were about to die as a child. Like, you were about to have an early death. And you just kind of joined the Doflamingo Pirates because you wanted to fuck shit up because you were angry. At what point in this backstory, or at what point in this dude's development, is it ever implied that he has some kind of motivation to find the One Piece? Like, why? Like, the One Piece isn't something you go after just on a fucking whim, right? It's kind of something that you need to dedicate your entire being to if you expect to get that shit. So, like, why? Like, Law wants to bring down a Yonko with Luffy, but why though? I just really would like to. I would like to see him anywhere explain why this is something he's interested in. Why do you want the glory of finding the One Piece? Why do you want to be the Pirate King? Because you're honestly the last bloke on my list who I feel like would want it.
Yeah, if there's any like big time pirate that is not gonna want the One Piece, it's probably gonna be Law. Yet apparently he fucking wants it. So
the way they're doing this dude's character right now, bro, it's like I feel like he's gonna die.
Well, yeah, Law's gonna die.
I feel like he's gonna die. Like there's
Law's gonna die.
Yeah, I feel like, dude, you're kind of not really making him a main character. Like you're not letting people get too attached to him these days. He's kind of doing insignificant shit. He's kind of just always bitching about, like, the Straw Hats doing crazy shit on their own. and like jeopardizing the plan when he himself jeopardized the whole entire fucking plan by letting himself get captured for 3 measly insignificant crewmates. Let's make a comment on that. But dude, like, come on, this guy is a fucking enigma. He's really just like he's a failure, dude. At this point in time, he's kind of a failure of a character, and it just leads me to believe that he's gonna die in Wano just to like support Luffy even some more. Like, come on.
Yeah, I don't know if he'd die in Wano, but I can't imagine the story ending with him alive. So I don't know.
Like,
maybe
this dude isn't going to become the next Whitebeard. He isn't going to become like a new Yonko. Like, that's what people like to believe when they saw the big 3 at Sabaody.
Yeah, it certainly made sense. But at this point, I mean, and well, so I do see not just the possibility of it, but a real likelihood that what we're gonna see here. Here's what's gonna happen: is shit's gonna actually start going down. Like this huge epic battle at basically Marineford 2 is going to happen at Onigashima, and Law is finally going to get into some fights, and he's just going to be super broken again. Like, he's going to be completely scaled out of
damage
fucking nowhere.
Control.
Like, I mean, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Oda does a fair bit of damage control.
Insane damage control. Like, he's going to be going up against fucking Queen or something. Like, seriously, he's going to be going up against one of Kaido's commanders, and he's going to win. Because, why not? Because he got destroyed by Dofi, so of course
during
he beats
the Wano War?
commander. Yeah. Fuck it.
No way in hell.
Well, I mean, no, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm saying that's what's going to happen.
No, that's not what's going to happen.
You don't think so?
No, I don't feel like Law... Dude, I'm a firm believer that those commanders... Zoro is 100% getting his 1v1 glorious fight with King. That's the only thing I can accept. I truly believe that Sanji, with this raid suit, is going to have to fight Queen like a majority, and that Jack is either going to be fought by Inuarashi and Nekomamushi as like retaliation for what he did on Zou, or he's going to be fought by Jinbei, because the only thing that's keeping Jinbei from being the strongest fishman in the verse at this point is the existence of Jack.
I was actually just going to say, I mean, the fact that Jack's a fishman in general, and how like so slightly it's been shown, it's like guaranteed that Jinbei is going to be fighting him. I mean, he might even know him or something.
And also their movesets are kind of conflicted, whereas Jinbei's moveset relies on the manipulation of moisture. Jack his epithet is the drought. He like stomps places and creates deserts to a degree, they say. So that's what I believe.
I'm pretty confident that they'll be fighting each other.
Yeah, any more shitting on Law that you'd like to do before we wrap this up? Because I feel like we've put this man on a pedestal and straight up roasted him.
And that's about all there is to say. Like, I don't know, again, I will say, actually, it's pretty unusual to have someone else who agrees that Law has just been destroyed, so I actually feel that I had a lot more resentment towards his character than I had initially anticipated. Mm-hmm. So that was interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's a disaster. I don't know if there's any real way of redeeming Law's character without absolutely breaking everything. Like I said, I mean, the only thing that could really be done is making him super powerful again and actually relevant, but that would just be like, well, what the fuck happened? I mean, we have people like Luffy and Kid who are training their asses off, and they're just barely becoming powerful enough to be like at this level. That is a good thing to mention, and Law's just fucking playing with his wiener the whole time. Like, how is he going to get that powerful?
That's a great thing to mention. Law does no training at all. Like, no. This dude doesn't really like get stronger. There's been no time in between Dressrosa and Wano for this dude to get any kind of development. So it's like if he just dead ass pulls something out of his ass and he's like suddenly able to compete with Yonko commander level opponents, then that's just like damage control. It's like Ace versus Jinbei Part 3. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be like some bullshit like, oh yeah, while we were on the boat ride here, I was constantly training my room ability, and now I have like 10 times the amount of stamina while using my devil fruit.
All I did was look at a pebble and teleport it.
All day. Like it's gonna be something like Oda's just gonna throw in some 2-page flashback bullshit for no reason, and he's gonna be like, on the same level as everyone again. It's going
now,
to be
now
total bullshit.
after doing this discussion, 2 videos are coming from me. Law versus Zoro, because I just need to really paint a picture on how Zoro could defile Law. And then number 2, I'm doing a whole video on Ace versus Jinbei and why it's the bane of my existence. And why that's the biggest damage control in all of fucking fiction.
It's so bad, dude. It's so bad.
All right, we'll talk about it, though. I'll save it for the video. Okay.
Yeah, definitely
Let's
save
do it.
that.
Let's wrap it up.
Okay. So yeah, that is our takes on Law being an absolute shit show disaster of a character that could have been good. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it this far, I realize this was a pretty long video. These discussion videos tend to be. They're pretty fun. So make sure, if you have not already, you do check out Gannon's channel. Its link is going to be in the description, as well as a link to his latest video. So check that out. Gannon, if you want to say anything else about your channel.
Oh, yeah. I just uploaded my first anime review. It is on the new kind of poppin' Netflix series, Doro Hey Doro. I'm pretty proud of that video. I thought it came out very well. And I do a whole bunch of different variety content, so if you guys want to go check that out, like Fronky said, my link's going to be in the description.
Yeah, definitely check that out. Also, this video is going to be uploaded on his channel as well, so that doesn't really mean anything, I guess, but, you know, maybe it does in some way that I don't know. So, yeah, thanks again for watching. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day, a great end to your weekend, since this will probably be uploaded on a Saturday, and, yeah, see you in the next one.